Of all personality types, the bold and curious ENTP is most unwilling to follow norms and authorities. Possibilities intrigue them, inspire them, bring them to life, especially possible solutions to difficult problems. But no matter how many ideas, plans, hobbies, and events they're already involved in, they're always scouting for more. Common interests include inventing, naturally, critical thinking, debating, and mathematics. But their expertise extend to many soft skills too, organizing new systems, thinking up fresh ideas, sharing their confidence with those around them, succeeding even in the hardest situations, and improvising. If you wish to motivate an ENTP, just tell them something can't be done. Competency and ingenuity drive them, and this drive normally gives them well-earned faith in their problem-solving abilities. Much as they love brainstorming, an idea's value comes from the change it can bring into reality. But even though an inventor may feel ready just having a vague course of action, lack of a solid plan may bring their downfall. Should they fail too often, they may start to avoid situations in which they have failed before, rather than finally planning for them more carefully. Others often welcome ENTPs into their circles. Inventors tend to like spirited friends who share many of the same interests. But their relaxed, outgoing, and charming manners attract all sorts of people. Expect a variety of unique conversation in their company. Their thirst for information often inspires those around them. Rarely do they boss others around. When this does happen, it means that circumstances seem to demand it. But inventors aren't also called debaters for nothing. They may use their sharp minds to debate friends, verbally pushing them into a corner. Every possible angle is subject to attack or defense, even playing devil's advocate because more points of view mean more knowledge to take in. The only thing that the perspectives they take have in common is that they are choosing to argue them, and no matter what they decide to argue for, it is child's play for them to win the point. But in the few occasions they do lose the debate, it may not sit well. Keeping harmony while still pursuing knowledge may be one of the most rewarding skills they can learn. Their fiery independence often leads them down the entrepreneur path, but ENTPs succeed in many careers so long as it gives them variety, room to innovate new systems of all kinds, and chances to try new ideas. But without these freedoms in a career, don't expect much focus or many finished products.
I'm so sorry.
Instead, expect some mischief. When bored, ENTPs might challenge the system or their employers just to give themselves a problem to solve. Though the problems they cause are usually easy enough to fix, employers don't normally like someone causing unnecessary problems. The moral of the story? Keep inventors in jobs that suit them. Seriously, it just goes better for everybody. Teaching often calls for fresh ideas for helping students get the most from their studies. Project leaders must find unique solutions for keeping pace with an ever-changing world. And thanks to their social nature, creating systems and relationships comes naturally. If ENTPs stick with a company long enough to earn an executive position, they'd thrive thinking up original solutions and passing them down to employees to implement. Their homes are full of energy.
Hey, where did INTJ go?
They love a friendly debate with their spouses, which may or may not remain friendly depending on if the spouse enjoys it too. Though often dependable at bringing home a paycheck, spending too much on odd items or equipment for their hobbies could become a common vice. And with so much time on their hobbies, it's just easier to let the husband or wife pick up after them. Inventors normally make good parents, although their hobbies may at times dictate how much time they spend with their children. When not focused on a personal project, it's then their kids can enjoy a delightful time with an ENTP parent. Maybe not time doing mundane tasks, like getting help with homework or making lunches. The other parent often ends up with those responsibilities, but ENTPs love treating their kids to unique experiences. Too many literal, day-to-day details are going to bore them. Focus on the big picture and novel possibilities to keep their attention. Be open-minded, alert, and attentive, just as they tend to be with you. Use logic to make your points, not emotion. Expect them to jump in and challenge your ideas. And be sure to jump in with your own challenges. On that note, please don't take their challenges or rebuttals personally. Debating is how they pursue knowledge, so they normally don't mean to offend. ENTPs may be quick to think out loud and argue many points, but when it comes to big decisions, give them time to talk it out and brainstorm. Don't assume that the first thing they say is a final answer. In fact, you may need to encourage them to think big decisions through before jumping in. Trust their competence. They value their abilities, and if you doubt them, you will offend them. Remember, you don't have to agree with their ideas. They don't mind hearing a difference of opinion, but do respect their commitment to logic and innovation that supplies the basis for their ideas.